Hello, this is topic 9-5 over simplifying radical expressions. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about how to simplify radicals, including radicals that have variables. So all these are square roots. So the square root of a squared, hopefully you know that that is a. Because a squared is a times a. We pull out a pair and we get a. If we look at a to the third, that's 1, 2, 3 a's. We have one pair with one left behind. So if a comes out and an a stays behind. If we look at this one, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 a's, which gives me two pair. So I get a squared. A to the fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2 pairs with one lonely a. So it would be a squared on the square root of a. A to the sixth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3 pairs makes a cubed, and hopefully by now you've seen the pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3 pairs with one lonely a left over. And so I'm hoping that by now you've seen the pattern. What we've done is we take our exponents, 2, 4, and 6, and divide by 2. Divide exponent by 2. And if there's a remainder, it stays under the radical. So we divide exponent by 2, and the remainder stays under the radical. So I'm going to be using this shortcut right here in the future. I'm not going to be referring back to this. If you're confused, please come back to the beginning to do this. So let's go ahead and take a look at number 7. Well, 24 divided by 2 is 12. That's a to the 12th. 31 over 2 is 15 and a half. This is a to the 15th. Square root of a. A to the 40th. 40 divided by 2 is 20. That's a to the 20th. A to the 47th. 47 divided by 2 is a 23 and a half. So that's a to the 23, square root of a. 120 divided by 2 is 60. This is a to the 60th. And 101 divided by 2 is 50 and a half. This is a to the 50th on the square root of a. Now hopefully you don't actually need to write all of these fractions like I did to do your division. Hopefully some of these you just knew. However, I wrote the fractions because some of you are not as good at dividing and you're not as good at seeing simple problems. They're just not that simple to you as they are to me. So I wrote these so that you would know how to do these if you look back at your notes. Let's go ahead and check out the next page where we put together what we did here with what we did in our last topic. So here, 144 y squared. Well, I know 144 is 12 times 12. There's a pair of 12s. Y squared, a single y comes out. and there's nothing left in the square root. Look over here, 81. Well, that's 9 and 9. So 9 comes out. A to the 4th. 4 divided by 2 is 2. B to the 6th. 6 divided by 2 is 3. C to the 10th. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Again, 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And 10 divided by 2 was 5. So those were nice and pretty. 24 is not a perfect square. However, I know it divides by 4 and 6, which is 2 and 2, 2 and 3. Got a pair of 2's. That 2 stays behind. That 3 stays behind. Okay. We'll know that this is 2, some variables, square root of 2 times 3, and maybe some variables. Well, x to the 5th, 5 divided by 2 is 2, with 1 left over. So this becomes 2x squared, and the square root of 6x, because 2 times 3 makes 6. Let's go and take a look at number 16. Well, 75, I happen to know, is 3 quarters. And 25 is 5 and 5. So we've got a pair of 5s with a 3 left over. Leave some space for some variables. Well, x squared, 2 divided by 2 is just 1, x. Y cubed, 3 divided by 2 is 1, with a remainder of 1. So this is 5xy on the square root of 3y. So again, all we're doing is we are factoring things out until we can get pairs of numbers to pull out. Anything that doesn't pull out stays behind. Number 17. Here we already have some things on the outside. We're going to keep that in mind. And 162 is not a perfect square. However, I know it divides by 2. And if I take 162 and I divide it by 2 with a calculator, I'll get 81. And 81 is a perfect square of 9 and 9. So let's go ahead and take a look. I've got 9 that comes out. I've got this a squared and this b that are out. I'm going to leave some other room for these. Square root. Well, this 2 is inside. I'm going to leave some room to talk about variables. Well, I can't divide 1 by 2, so that 1 stays behind. B to the 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. C to the 5th. Well, 5 divided by 2 is 2, with a remainder of 1. And so we put these together, 9a squared. Then I've got b times b to the 3rd makes b to the 4th. C squared. And that's on the square root of 2ac. Notice that when I had these two b's, I multiplied them. I took my exponents, this invisible 1, plus 3, made the 4. Moving on. 121, I know, is 11 times 11. It helps me out quite a bit. I don't have to go searching for what in the world do I divide by. So I know that I've got 3 on the outside, 11 on the outside, n squared on the outside. Leave me some room. On the square root, well, there are no numbers, so we're just talking letters. M to the fourth, well, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So I've got m squared. N to the fifth, 5 divided by 2 is 2, with 1 left over. P to the seventh, 7 divided by 2 is 3, with 1 left over. Now put these together. 3 times 11 makes 33. M to the 1, 2, 3. N to the 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this p to the third. All on the square root of np. Hopefully you remember how to multiply variables together well, because that's part of what we're having to do, is we're having to multiply variables together. But all this is not very difficult. We've got one more example, and then you should be set to work on the assignment. So the 72, one of the 72 is divisible by 9. We get 9 and 8. Well, 9 is 3 and 3. 8 is 4 and 2. And then 4 gives us a pair of 2s. So we've got those 3s, we've got those 2s, and we've got this 2. So on the outside, we've got negative 5 times 3 times 2. We've got this xy. Leave ourselves a little bit of a gap. On the square root of, well, this 2 is the only number that stayed behind. X to the fifth, 5 divided by 2 is 2, with 1 left over. And y to the fourth, well, 4 divided by 2 is 2, with nothing left over. Negative 5 times 3 times 2. Well, that's 10 times 3 is 30 with a negative, so we have negative 30. X to the 1 plus 2 makes 3. Y to the 1 plus 2 makes 3. On the square root of 2x. And so that's all there is to these assignments. Shouldn't be too hard. I'm sure that you'll be able to do this just fine on your assignment. Good luck on that, and if you have questions, please let me know. Have a good day.